Hey everybody, Kyle Goth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel, and I do have a first reaction for you. I just saw a press screener that was sent my way for a film called Lost in the Shuffle. It's directed by John Ornoy, who also did the screenplay, as much as screenplay as a documentary actually gets, and it follows magician Sean Farquhar. I think I'm saying that right, Farquhar. Every time they said it in the movie, I tried to repeat it just so I could remember how it was said, and I probably butchered it. So I apologize, Sean, if you're watching this. The film follows him, Sean, the magician and sleight of hand artist, as he looks at the relationship between playing cards and magic. And there's a lot of things happening in this documentary. I don't think that they all entirely marry well together, but each one of the distinct, disparate elements I found fascinating. So basically, we have the discussion of the history of playing cards, where they came from, where the suits came from, where the jacks, kings, queens, aces came from. I don't know, we spent a lot of time on jokers, but that would have been kind of interesting. Maybe we'll get a spin-off. And so we have is, a distinct history of those, as well as an interesting potential Da Vinci Code-esque thing. Like, I didn't know anything about this movie, to be honest, when I first started watching it. I tried to go into these things blind, and so I honestly didn't realize it was a documentary until I started playing it. I didn't realize much about what it was going to be going on, and then all of a sudden he's like, there's a 500-year potential murder mystery that could be solved with playing cards, and I was like, oh, we're going in good, I'm into that. And I think a lot of kids, I grew up thinking maybe I could be a magician one day. I really liked magic when I was a kid. I found just the idea that there might be something more to the world just fascinating, and I like the showmanship elements of it. And I fell in love with a lot of the elements that were at play here. I think he explores a number of other sleight of hand artists, magicians, who basically give their take on playing cards, what they do, their favorite bits to do. Like the things that they enjoy about the world of using cards to elevate their magic, which I found, again, interesting, because you never really think about that. Tools of the trade, you think about, like, someone building a house, what do they use? But you never think about what is a magician's tools of the trades, and oftentimes playing cards were an interesting part of that. So I found that part interesting as well. He's also using this murder mystery element, and he's taking bits from each of these previous people to help him basically pull off a sleight of hand magic trick in front of a bunch of people at the place where the murder supposedly happened, and like it culminates in this interesting little night that he has with a bunch of people where they watch him tell the story of this murder mystery using a deck of playing cards. So lots of stuff happening here. Again, I found all of the individual elements in this film to be rather captivating. The part that worked for me the best was the murder mystery, and I would have liked if we'd spent a little bit more time on that. But individually, what the film is trying to express, I thought each of the individual parts of it worked very well. It was just in the marrying of those things. I just didn't find that. I didn't find that the murder mystery really elevated the history of the playing cards in the same way, or elevated the interviews with the magicians that also had a similar connection to cards. Like, I found like all of them didn't really uplift each other and didn't really come together in a way that was truly satisfying. But I'm going to recommend the film because I think what's there is good. It just would have been better if they'd felt more cohesively linked by the end of the film. I think that's the goal of what Ornoy is doing with the film. I just don't know that it's fully successful in marrying all the elements and making a complete experience. But the parts are interesting, even if the whole doesn't come together. So I'm definitely recommending the movie. But it's specific to like people who grew up wondering about the magic of the world, wondering about that. I'm a big board game person. I used to love magic stuff when I was a kid, so this like really harkened back to my childhood. So this is a movie definitely. I use a lot of decks of cards because I play a ton of board games. I like the tangibility of getting people around and using cards. So I find the card portion interesting. I found the magic portion interesting. You may not. And if that's something that doesn't excite you on the outset, I don't think this movie is going to sway you in that way. But I would definitely recommend it for people who like magic, who like cards, who like getting people around a table and playing, because even though the film is about the magician's use of playing cards, the playing cards themselves in the film have an interesting backstory. And I think that even if you like to get people together to play poker or blackjack, you may get something interesting out of the playing cards themselves. So overall, I'm going to recommend Lost in the Shuffle. I had a good time watching it. Definitely not a perfect documentary, but it has the things about it that I think worked pretty darn well. So go ahead and check it out when you have an opportunity, and let me know down in the comments section what you thought about Lost in the Shuffle. Going into it, tell me what you thought about it based on your background. Are you a person who plays a lot of card games or board games? Are you a person who likes magic tricks or shows? Did you want to be a magician when you were a kid? I'd love to hear your background to it, as well as your overall thoughts on the film. Thank you so much for joining me. While you're down there commenting, please make sure to like and subscribe. They're 2 free things you can do. Help to support the channel immensely, and you never miss new episodes of the show as they drop. You can also find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can find goatfilmreviews.com if you want to see my written reviews. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Threads. You can also find my show Kyle and Nick on Film that I co-host with Nick Polachuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. We have new episodes of that show every single week. There's also a link in the description of this video for the Minnesota Film Critics Alliance, of which I am a member. There's other critics' reviews, including of Lost in the Shuffle, and more of my stuff there too. So go ahead and check out those links down below in the description. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.